Hello, friends. Welcome back to our short story series. In this series, we are going to share classic fairy tales, updated and changed based on your suggestions. In this story, a flea, a grasshopper, and a frog decide to have a contest to see who is the greatest jumper. A visiting king decides he will judge the contest and give a prize to the winner who jumps the highest. Who do you think will win? Now, before we continue with our story, let's start by making sure you are comfy and take some great big belly breaths. Breathing in slowly through your nose and slowly out through your mouth. Notice how your belly rises as you fill yourself up with air. Breathe in and breathe out. Notice how relaxing it feels as you release the breath. Breathe in and breathe out. You are becoming relaxed, calm, and peaceful. One more time. Breathe in, hold, and breathe out. Now, let's continue with our story. In a silly, magical world far, far away, a flea, a grasshopper, and a frog once wanted to see which of them could jump the highest. To do this, they made a competition and invited the whole world to come and see this amazing sight. 3 famous jumpers they were when they finally met in the competition room. "I will give a sack of gold-wrapped chocolate to the highest jumper," said a visiting king. "It would be too bad for you to compete and for us to offer no prize." The fabulous flea was the first to come forward. She had the most exquisite manners and bowed to everyone on every side, for she was used to the stage and the manners that were required for such the time. Next came the great grasshopper. She was not as mannerly as the flea, but she knew perfectly how to conduct herself in front of people, and had some experience jumping about in front of ancient royal families. The fact was that she had just been brought out of the grain fields and put into a playing card house 3 stories high, built on purpose just for her, the sides with color facing inwards, and doors and windows cut out of the Queen of Hearts. "And I can sing so well," she trumpeted, that a musician friend was amazed how I managed to miss every single tone in a song, she said. "It should be impossible." And so it was that the flea and the grasshopper made the most of themselves, each thinking themselves quite an equal match for the pot of chocolate gold. The lanky leapfrog said not a single word and sat there motionless. And so a royal dog who snuffed at her with his rubbery wet nose stated that yes, she was still okay. A respected old man who was a part of the royal party seriously asserted that the leapfrog was a psychic, for one could see on her back whether the coming winter was to be severe or mild, which is more than one can see on the back of the man who writes the almanac. "I have no comments about the competitors," exclaimed the king, "but I will observe and decide the winner." And then the competition began. The fabulous flea jumped so high that no one could see what had become of her, and so they insisted that she had not jumped at all, which was disgraceful after the fuss she had made. The great grasshopper jumped only half as high, but she leapt onto the king's face, who was disgusted by her rudeness. "Yuck," he said. The lanky leapfrog stood for a long time, as if lost in thought, and people began to think she would not jump at all. "I'm afraid she is ill," said the dog, and he went to sniff at her again, when lo and behold, she suddenly made a sideways jump into the lap of the visiting king's princess, who sat close by on a little golden stool. "There is nothing higher in my mind than my daughter," said the king. "Therefore, to jump onto her lap is the highest jump that can be made." Thus the frog has shown that she is not only the greatest jumper, but also the smartest. And so she won the chocolate and the friendship of the princess. "I did jump the highest," said the fabulous flea, "but it's all the same to me. The princess may have the stiff-legged, slimy creature as her friend she likes. And who really likes chocolate anyway? Not me. I am too light and airy for all of you." And so the fabulous flea bounced off onto the dog. The great grasshopper sat aimlessly on the green bank and reflected on the world and its ways. And she too said, "Yes, I jumped higher than that silly frog, but I must admit that she was more clever than me." And then she began to sing in her own peculiar way, much like we would hear in our own world. The lanky leapfrog and the princess ate the chocolate together and remained friends for many, many years to come. And that is the end of our silly story. Now say after me, aloud, or just to yourself. I can do anything. I believe I can be whatever I want to be. I am calm, relaxed, and peaceful. Sleep tight.